In the fall, Medicare is scheduled to start negotiating lower prices with drug companies as part of the Inflation Reduction Act President Biden signed last year. But several of the largest players hope they never have to get to the negotiation table at all because they want to figure it out in court first. So far this summer, Merck, Bristol Myers Squibb, and Johnson & Johnson, plus leading industry groups, sued the administration, claiming the program violates the First and Fifth Amendments. The companies hope the Supreme Court will side with them one day, but for now, the action remains in the lower courts. Josh Nathan-Kazis is joining me now. He covers health care for Barron's. Josh, you write the odds are in Big Pharma's favor. Why do you think that the drug makers are going to win this?
Well, look, the companies and the industry groups that have filed lawsuits here are following two parallel strategies. On the one hand, some, as you say, are clearly gunning for a Supreme Court decision. You can see that one hired a former Solicitor General as their lead attorney. Another hired a litigator who won a major Supreme Court case last year against the EPA. But at the same time, there's a shorter-term strategy. At least one of the plaintiffs, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, has filed for an injunction asking the courts to pause implementation of the law. And for some of these companies, just a short delay could be pretty material, particularly for companies that might face negotiation as soon as 2026. So far, only one of these companies is actually, or one of the plaintiffs has actually filed for one of these injunctions. But, in filing these cases around the country, the industry is giving itself lots of chances to find either a judge who will find in their favor, or potentially, an appeals court judge if they fail on the district level. Experts I've spoken to have said that so far the judges that have been assigned to them might not be the ones who they would have hoped for. That doesn't mean that they won't have more luck on appeal. And it seems likely that at some point in the next couple of years, they will get an injunction that pauses implementation of the law. On the question of whether a Supreme Court case would eventually, find in their favor, that's harder to say and depends on a number of imponderables, including, who sits on the Supreme Court when this case actually makes it there.
You mentioned that a pause could be materially important for some of these companies. I want to get back to that in a second, but first let me ask you this. Also a pause, since this is a law that has to be enacted by an administration. Presumably, if another party were running things at Medicare, they could just choose not to do these negotiations and the drug companies would be off the hook. So does delay and another election potentially work in the favor of some of these drug companies?
I'm not sure. I mean, this is in the statute that Congress did pass a law with a pretty clearly laid out timeline. So I'm not sure that an administration could unilaterally not impose it. I think the question is more, whether these companies, through the litigation that they've begun, are able to get a court to, pause implementation before 2026. The dates, as you say, the timeline begins in September of this year when the Medicare names the first 10 drugs eligible for negotiation. But then there's a whole lot of steps before the new prices for the first 10 drugs come into effect in early 2026. And, if it was paused at any point in there, for example, for a company like Bristol Myers and Pfizer, which both collaborate on a blood thinner called Eliquis, Eliquis, Medicare paid more than $12 billion for Eliquis in 2021 alone. Just a year more of being able to fully, set its own prices for Eliquis would be, pretty significant for Bristol and less so for Pfizer.
All right, Barron's reporter Josh Nathan-Kazis, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks.